You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Of course, in my network, laging nababanggit yung, may chance pa ba? Are we doomed na? Parang with the data that we have, may mga kabataan from my network saying na, what can we do? Or is it too small? Parang, does it matter? Does it even matter
Mm.
to do this
Mhm.
thing? So, very important siyang i-address, especially for people in the NGOs and for young professionals like me na working in the conservation field. Kasi, hindi siya parang random. It's actually common for young people na feeling hopelessness, yung ganun.
You're listening to Teka Teka. What you're about to hear is a snippet of an upcoming episode of A Better Normal, another Puma Podcast production. Host Carl Javier sits down with conservation biologist Keisha Muanya. They talk about the work she does with Wetlands International Philippines, how they center communities on the front lines of climate disaster, and how to push through our shared anxiety about climate change to make a difference.
Hello everyone, I'm Keisha Muanya. I'm a conservation biologist, and right now I'm the policy and advocacy officer of Wetlands International Philippines. I grew up in a small island kasi in Cebu, Camotes Island. I started volunteering like for activities like coastal cleanup, mangrove tree planting, and other community-led initiatives, even feeding with coastal communities. That's where my curiosity and volunteerism and learning more about social and environmental issues started. And then I took up biology in college because of my interest in natural sciences and research. And back then, I wasn't even aware that NGOs existed.
Now I want to go back even further
Mm,
because you're saying high school student ako and then I started volunteering. I was in conservative. Why? Like of all of the things that a high school student could be doing, and I say this also as nung high school naman ako wala akong ganyang drive. Wala naman akong ganyang passion. Like how do you discover this as something that's interesting to you?
It's because siguro na galing ako sa coastal community, and in our community, wala masyadong regulations dun eh. Parang nadrive yung pagka-curious ko na bata that time.
Okay.
Kasi I see my neighbors doing quarrying, namumutol ng kahoy.
Oh,
Parang
so
napatanaw ako before, is that really okay? Parang okay lang ba? Kasi wala namang, kahit yung mga barangay captain, councilors, wala naman silang ginagawa about it. Actually, that's one of the most parang source of income in my community. So it looks normal, but then I got curious if it's really normal to do that. And then nung nag-transfer kasi ako sa mainland Cebu nung part ng high school ko kasi kinuha ako ng mother ko from my grandparents. So, that time, very eager yung mga members ng science club mag-recruit ng members. So, for extracurricular activities, kasi medyo ako nung high school masyado akong conscious sa grades. No, yun yung unang nakapag sa akin, extracurricular activities, I need to join a club. And then mukha namang interesting yung sa science club. So doon ako nag-join. Doon siya first. Parang unconscious ako nung nag-join ako. Hindi talaga siya because I really care for the environment. It is what I wanted. Parang nag-lead na lang siya there siguro after.
what were you
But I can
doing
speak for the audience na baka ngayon din lang na-discover ang like the joys of nature and sort of how we need to protect it. So, Kisha, I'm wondering, parang high school is the discovery phase for you. And then in college, you start to feel like you want to organize. Tapos, I think I and I are in agreement na talagang community organizing is so important. Diba?
Yes.
Kailangan beyond the school and kailangan connected sa community. But I go back to what's going on in your head na alam mo dapat mag-organize ako for the community. It's me. I'm the person who's going to do this. What brings you?
Uh,
Kasi biology yung undergrad ko. And then mostly ng mga blockmates kasi kami. So from first year to fourth year, kami lang yung magkakasama. And then majority sa mga friends ko, yung reason bakit nag-bio sila is either gusto nilang mag-med or medicine or maging scientist. Parang ganun yung motivation namin that time. Research, and then maybe swerte lang din kami sa school namin kasi very immersed kami with nature. Ang dami naming mga research activities na hindi kami mahirap payagan sa school. Like, for example, in our ecology subject, kailangan naming puntahan lahat ng ecosystems at kailangan naming mag-gather ng initial data. So from rivers to lakes, to caves, to the coast, parang ang dami naming na-explore along the way na hindi siya actually na-stuck kami sa classroom learning. But yung mga profs namin in-encourage talaga kami to go out, to ask interviews sa communities. I think yun yung parang nagpa-deepen pa ng understanding ko at doon ko rin start na intindihan yung gaps na ang dami palang issues sa community, parang ang dami palang environmental issues na akala ko dati normal lang. Kasi like yung quarrying, for example, in Naga, Cebu, kaya pala sobrang daming landslide doon kapag may bagyo is because parang quarrying is one of their primary source of income in that area. So, doon ko na ko connect lahat and then nung time na parang I am eager to do more, naghahanap kami ng organizations na pwede kaming mag-join. Like, when I was in high school, walang masyadong available and then wala din masyadong NGOs sa Cebu kasi na environment. So, ginawa namin, nag-start na lang kami ng sarili naming organization.
We get into the work Keisha does now after a quick break.
Kung ano yung experiences ko before as a youth leader, ganun pa rin yung hindi nagbabago yung values na na-instill sa akin, but naging deeper lang yung understanding ko sa mga ginagawa. Like, na mas nako-connect ko na siya better. Like, in our work with Wetlands International, sobrang halaga nung community involvement, for example, in terms of, like, yung sa research, like, gumagawa kami ng research, pero yung research namin hindi lang siya natetenga sa somewhere or sa hard drive. Ginagamit namin siya para mag-support sa mga policy development na pinupush namin sa local communities or sa national.
Ako kasi naisip ko lang, working in media, and lalo na the last few months I've been running our news team. So talagang like my face is in like in the news and in socials and trying to figure out everything that's going on. And I realized that there's a world that gets created when you're online, and when you have so much exposure and you only have those narratives, nawawarp talaga yung sense of reality mo. Kaya I'm so sold on this idea of actually you need to go out, and then you need to leave the computer behind. You need to put your phone away. You need to look at what's going on, because I do think that if nothing else, if I'm like more of you know forest, beach, ganyan, like if you get there and you're looking at nature, dapat you suddenly have a personal feeling that you need to protect this at this point, parang given all of that. So I want to connect that to the topic that we wanted to ask Keisha about was nature-based solutions. And so parang can you introduce the idea to us, especially to someone like me na walang alam?
So yung nature-based solutions, it's actually defined as actions to address societal challenges through the protection and sustainable management and restoration of ecosystems, benefiting both biodiversity and human well-being. So biodiversity and human well-being. And with nature-based solutions, we can actually use the power of nature and functioning ecosystems to provide natural services to benefit yung society natin, yung environment natin. And this approach is increasingly recognized, lalo na ngayon, as essential to addressing climate change or the climate crisis and its impacts on both ecosystems and communities. Parang intindihin lang natin na kung ano yung natural, pag-aaralan natin siya, paano siya ma-integrate sa ngayon, or paano natin ibalik, like yung restore and rehabilitate. For example, mangrove rehabilitation for coastal protection. Sa Pilipinas, actually, more than 50% of the mangroves na yung nawala sa atin. And examples like yung restoration or rehabilitation activities in Leganes, yung sa Ahoy, and yung Nukwaka ng Negros Occidental, it's a prime example of NBS in action. Kasi ang laki ng benefits kapag binalik natin sila. For example, according to studies, yung healthy mangrove ecosystems can reduce wave energy up to 60%. So imagine niyo kapag may bagyo, kung meron kang mangrove, I think nag-trending to nung may bagyong Odette na may pinakitang simulation na anong mangyayari kapag may waves and then may mangroves and then yung walang mangroves. I think nag-trending siya sa social media, sa Facebook ba yun, na mas na-visualize natin kung ano yung impact. So 60%, imagine ang laki ng difference ng masisave nating buhay, ng kabuhayan, properties, yung structures, kung meron tayong actually nature-based solutions or pinapahalagahan natin yung nature-based solutions, hindi lang sa storm surges, hindi lang sa coastal flooding or tsunamis, it also provides carbon sequestration, like when talking about climate change. So, ang ganda ng benefit, tsaka mas mura siya, yung nature-based solutions.
I want to imagine now, parang hearing all of this, I want to imagine a listener na parang gusto na rin niya tumulong. They're overcoming their existential dread. Anong first steps nila? Apart from being like you, Keisha, na magtatayo ng org. Like, yung hindi ganun ka-intense. Yung gusto lang nilang makahanap ng way na tumulong. How do they start?
Actually, ang daming opportunities for young people ngayon eh. Mga free pa lahat. Parang siguro dati walang ganito or dahil mas madali makapag-reach out ngayon yung mga nag-o-organize. Maraming mga fellowships, kahit mga webinars, free naman. And then, meron ding actually maraming NGOs na may volunteer program. Kahit sa ganun, magsali ng volunteer program. At saka ang dami ng youth organizations ngayon. Since 2019, nag-rise up talaga yung number ng youth organizations. So there's a lot of youth organizations that you can join and participate. Kasi iba pa rin yung may sense of community ka. Iba yung feeling mo kapag you have other people na nakakaintindi ng concerns mo.
This was a snippet of an upcoming episode of A Better Normal, another Puma podcast production hosted by Carl Javier. Look them up wherever you get your podcasts if you'd like to hear more. This episode was written by me, Bella Perez Rubio, produced by Jill Caro, and edited by Pidoy Blanco. Thanks for listening.